Our first watch is Hero Watch. This Omnitrix's appearance resembles the original Omnitrix prior to its reconfiguration, except the interface is blue instead of green, much like everything else in Dimension 23. In addition, the face's rim is gold instead of gray. It is blue and light blue in color instead of gray. The Hero Watch mainly allows for the user to transform into a numerous variety of Alien life forms, each with their own unique powers and abilities, along with their weaknesses, and in a selection of Alien DNA that is in groups of 23. The Hero Watch has a quick change feature. Manually touching the Hero Watch symbol not only allows the user to immediately transform back to normal, but can also be used to change forms while already transformed. The Hero Watch has a self-destruct mode. The Hero Watch could be synchronized with another Omnitrix, giving it new transformations. The Hero Watch can detach from the user's wrist. This Omnitrix has only shown one display mode thus far: black silhouettes of transformations. The location of the Omnitrix symbol varies between transformations. The Hero Watch may or may not give clothing to a transformation based on the wearer's clothing. The Hero Watch may stop working when frozen in time by a Chrono Sapien dot. If hacked, the Hero Watch can activate its self-destruct mode. This Omnitrix contains most, if not all, of Ben Prime's normal aliens, including every alien available to him during the original series. Our next watch is the Omniverse Omnitrix. You guys will love this watch. It's green, but it also has features of the blue Omnitrix, which is why I'm mentioning it. The Omnitrix resembles a digital wristwatch. Its faceplate is now square rather than round and has a white, green, and black color scheme. The faceplate is black with two green stripes forming an outline for the hourglass of the Galvan Tech logo. When the faceplate is slid back, the Omnitrix's core is revealed. The Omnitrix in Omniverse Future Timeline looks exactly same, but some elements are black instead of green. According to Azimuth, he started working on this Omnitrix ever since Gen got the prototype during the events of And Then There Were 10. He has spent approximately 6 years constructing it. This Omnitrix was first mentioned by Azimuth in Map of Infinity. He was planning on giving it to Ben, but stated that it was not complete. He also mentioned that Ben's maturity needed to increase before he would be allowed to use it. Towards the end of Ultimate Alien, Azimuth had completed this Omnitrix. In the Ultimate Enemy, Part 2, Azimuth finally gave it to Ben because he deemed him worthy of wielding it shortly after removing the Ultimatrix from the latter's wrist. Ben has been wearing this Omnitrix ever since. In And Then There Were None, No Watch. Ben temporarily wore the Omnitrix after Ben Prime Chrono Sapien Time Bomb turned to dust by the And Then There Was Ben, No Watch. Ben returned the Omnitrix to Ben Prime after the latter was restored by the former as clockwork, alongside all of his other counterparts. Many years later, Ben gave the Omnitrix to his son, Ken. However, Ken went on a mission he was not allowed to go on at some point after this, and got in over his head, prompting Ben to take his Omnitrix from him. In the end of an era, Ken is shown handing over the Omnitrix to his mother when it is brought up. Just like the original Omnitrix and the Ultimatrix, the Omnitrix mainly allows for the user to alter their DNA at will and transform into a numerous variety of alien species that are each with their own unique powers and abilities, along with their weaknesses, and in a selection of alien DNA that is in groups of 10. Ben compares the feeling of transforming to a good stretch. The Omnitrix has a quick change feature that allows for the user to transform between alien forms while already transformed with or without touching the Omnitrix symbol. It also allows the user to transform back into normal when they are done using their transformation, causing it not to time out and allowing the user to transform again far quicker. The Omnitrix has a master control, which would most likely be activated upon Ben's 18th birthday. The Omnitrix can synchronize with another Omnitrix if activated at the same time. It is because of this feature that the Omnitrix's counterpart from Dimension 23 has unlocked aliens that it did not have previously. The Omnitrix does not rely on the codon stream for transformation. Instead, the DNA is stored within itself in a computerized form. The Omnitrix can change the user's gender to adapt to another species. The Omnitrix has call mode, which is used to communicate with the user using the device. The Omnitrix has a two-way communication system with plumber badges. The Omnitrix can also record messages. Similar to voicemail. The Omnitrix has the functionalities of a regular digital watch. The Omnitrix has a function where the user to stay transformed for an extended period of time without timing out. Ben only knows the lock code for Incursion DNA. The Omnitrix adapts the user's clothing to the Allen they transform into. The Omnitrix has a built-in universal translator and could also translate other Earth languages. The Omnitrix has a distress signal function and homing device, as Azimuth was able to find and rescue Ben when was trapped inside the Incursion exile pod. The Omnitrix has a security lock system so that it can only be used by the user, as well as an alternate identification program if changes by outside forces occur to the user. The Omnitrix has a fail-safe that kicks in the event that the user's life is in jeopardy. This feature turns them into the needed alien to survive. The Omnitrix has fail-safes installed by Azimuth that prevent galvanic mechamorphs from tampering with the device. With Skurd, he can duplicate the DNA of the Omnitrix's aliens and shapeshift their body parts into others. He can also create armor out of an alien's DNA. The Omnitrix usually provided clothes to the aliens that are adapted on what the user is wearing. The type and presence or absence of clothing are aspects determined according to the culture of each species. The Omnitrix symbol is positioned on different places for each alien whenever the user is transformed. The Omnitrix can be controlled by voice command. Omnitrix User Access Voice Recognition Mode makes the Omnitrix recognize Ben. Command code 10 Tennyson, Benjamin disengage, lifeform lock, disengages lifeform lock. If the Omnitrix does mistransform, it is because of the user slamming on the Omnitrix's coral too hard and, inadvertently, the scroll pad. Much like the original Ultimatrix, the Omnitrix is not hack-proof. How much like the original Omnitrix? 20. The Omnitrix does not have a failsafe against magic. DAW 1. If the Omnitrix symbol is bitten by magic creatures, such as rock monsters, the device will send a shockwave, distransform the user, and will select only one Allen. The DNA scanner of the Omnitrix will attempt to scan any new DNA in the vicinity. If the DNA sample is too far away, then the Omnitrix will shut down all its other functions until it scans the new sample. The user can be prevented from transforming by the Forever Night's DNA scanner, which would scan the transformation's DNA before revetting the user. Too many transformations and reversals will wear out the Omnitrix, causing it to go into a cooldown cycle. The Omnitrix has no mind control protection. The Omnitrix may stop working when frozen in time by a Chronosapien. In addition to gaining all the powers and abilities of an alien, the user gains all the weaknesses of that alien as well. One common weakness includes being vulnerable to the alien's natural predator. The user is also susceptible to certain behaviors inherent to the alien he/she is transformed into, such as Swampfire's evolution and the swarm gastronomy of Upchuck. Upon activating the randomizer function, the user will constantly switch transformations at the most inopportune times, thereby putting them into potentially dangerous situations. When exposed to electromagnetic interference from beings like Phil, it can make the Omnitrix transform the user into electrical aliens, even when they select a different Allen. Due to a programming error, Wrath had been running around naked for most of the series, until Skurd corrected the error and gave Wrath a luchador costume. If tampered with by Eon, the Omnitrix can transfer the user's mind in cross-time to a younger version. The Omnitrix initially had a total of at least 1,910 DNA samples, but over the course of Omniverse, the Omnitrix reacquired feedback in Showdown, Port 2, and acquired Vampire in the Vampire Strikes block, thus having a total of at least 1.000,912 of DNA samples, of which over 70 are unlocked. 14. Of these aliens, only 63 are named. Only 59 of them are used at least once. Here are some facts about Omnitrix you probably don't know about that. Unlike the original Omnitrix and the Ultimatrix, the Omnitrix has a digitalized feminine voice rather than the digitalized version of Ben's voice. In addition to the ones listed above, the Omnitrix has hundreds of other features Ben does not know about. For example, he does not know how to access the settings that changes the user's gender to adapt to another species. Derek believed that the Omnitrix has all the features of the original. Duncan Rouleau believes that the alien DNA is injected into the user, meaning they retain the wielder's personality, memories, and consciousness. Because of this, most of the aliens are not full-blown aliens, with the exceptions of ectoneurite and conductoid DNA. The Omnitrix could not transform the user into another of its own species. Unlike the Ultimatrix, the Omnitrix does not have an evolutionary feature. Now also, a polymorphic crystal cannot transform the Omnitrix itself into an Ultimatrix. Because of these factors, Ben will never regain the ability to transform into ultimate forms. It is implied that aliens such as Astrodactyl, Ballweevil, Blocks, Crashhopper, Gutrut, and Topic were never locked in the Omnitrix. In regard to Gravitack, it is implied that he was unlocked sometime before Double or Nothing. This is because Albedo is able to transform into negative Gravitack, and his powers only allow him to turn into all the aliens Ben has unlocked prior to that episode, though Derek later stated he was wrong about said claim due to negative Gravitack. In regard to feedback, Matt Youngberg, Derek J. Wyatt, and Kevin Rubio believe that Ben reabsorbed Feedback's DNA when he was floating inside Malware because Malware absorbed both the transformation and a little bit of Ben's genetic code when he destroyed Feedback. Thus, part of him really was missing. Ben is unaware that the Omnitrix contains interdimensional white lab mouse DNA. The Omnitrix also contains dolphin DNA. If this video gets 5,000 likes, then part 2 will also come, where I will talk more about the blue Omnitrix.